Hello? Hello? I decided to play some Bach to start out this stream because who doesn't like Bach? I feel like Snow in the Hunger Games. Let me scoot my seat over, get him a little more centered. Because damn, it's some hard times, people. So I need to set up some stuff on Facebook. I'm almost there. So I'm going to go to groups. Hey, Breeze in the chat. Okay, let's make sure that we're streaming on YouTube. We're good. We're good, Bree. Guess I'm going to get rid of the Bach now. This is Comet Elite und Lafette Easter Oratorior BVW. Oh my God, Cousin Kyle is in the house. BWV 249.3 chorus comment Elite und Laufett, Kimberly McCord, Paul McCreesh, Gabrielli, Robin Blaze. Cole is here for the Jews. Well, that's good. They need some support, but man, do I have an episode that's just gonna make everybody mad? Like, if you're not a heterodox thinker, like, don't watch this one. Like, I was gonna push it to freaking X Twitter, but I figured that was a bad idea. Hey, how's everybody doing? This is Jacob Robertson of the Corona Cafe / Future Shit / Starcraft or Starship Cafe. We can say COVID, so maybe I can bring that one back. So who am I? I'm a real estate agent in the Pacific Northwest. If you know anybody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate. Cole, Bree, can you hear me okay? Got a lavalier, so hopefully the sound quality is a bit better. I tested it yesterday and it didn't seem too bad. Heterodox means you have your own thoughts. So if you've already bought into the narrative around Israel and Palestine, if you've already bought into the narrative of like black crime, or you should be pretty okay, Cole. But the narrative around defund the police, black crime, Black Lives Matter, all that stuff. Like, if you might sound good, cool. It's gonna make you mad. Like, Auntie Linda and Mom might be mad at this one. Because I'm gonna both sides the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. Because I think that's important. I actually want to do this one as a service. So the reason I'm not recording this one is I'm not going to make this a funny video. This probably isn't going to be funny. Now, let me rephrase that. Like, it'll probably be funny because I can't help it. Like, I'm just going to crack jokes throughout this because it's kind of what I do. But for the most part, this is pretty serious. And the reason that I'm doing this is I want to give all of you a heads up of what's coming and also how to deal with all this crap. So I have two parts to this episode, which is going to be the Israeli and Palestinian conflict and crime in the United States. So it's not a light subject, but it's something that you guys need to be able to navigate. So what I'm going to start doing is we'll go over to my friend, not that one. Why are you there? Not you. So we got to change our window real quick. Got to go to here, got to go to X. Got to go to X. Then you got to resize it because OBS sucks. I don't know. Anyways, so where were we? So I want to talk about liberal crime real quickly. Liberal crime. So consequences of defund the police. So what happened, if we want to go back real quickly to 2020, and we could go back further if we really wanted to, but if you remember 2020 and all the riots, and I was like, hey guys, riots are a bad thing, and so is looting, and so is crime, and maybe you shouldn't be cheering it on. And if you care about black people, maybe you shouldn't be encouraging crime and lawlessness. But I got called a racist, and I lost most of my friends. You guys are still here. I got you too. I hear Ray might be here. She's a friend. And she'll still be a friend with me afterwards. And so people are like, oh yeah, no, we should totally blah, 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 blah. And then all of a sudden, 3 years later, they're like, oh, why are we getting attacked indiscriminately by black people? Oh, maybe it was the propaganda of F white people that you guys have just been throwing out for 20 years. And that's coming home to roost. So what we're dealing with in both of these is a consequence of propaganda and extremism and all that kind of stuff. I can't shake Bree. Man, Bree, I could actually shake you. Today would upset you, but I'm not going to show a lot of bodies, okay? I'm not going to show the carnage and the horror of which, like, has been, like... I've been pretty good about not seeing this stuff, but man, if you're like, searching Telegram, and Twitter to a lesser extent for, like, Israeli or Palestinian war crimes, you're going to see awful stuff. I mean, really, really horrific. As brutal as I've ever seen stuff. And I watched the ISIS beheadings, for God's sakes. I watched one of them, actually. That was Al-Qaeda in Iraq. And then I was like, I don't need to ever watch a beheading video again. So we're going to go with the crime in the big cities and liberals getting punked, because that's, like, a bit easier to deal with. So the first one I'm going to go to is, because I want to remember, like, the order that these happened in. Now, this one doesn't exactly fit into the narrative, but Josh Kruger, but it actually does kind of fit in. So Josh Kruger, let's see if we can go a little bit later, because this guy's getting hammered. So Philadelphia journalist is killed in his home. Josh Kruger, 39, was shot 7 times. The police said no arrests have been made. And I don't have this article up. So this guy was a left-wing, anti-racist, all the, Ukraine flag. I don't know if he actually had the Ukraine flag in his bio and all that stuff. Anyways, he was murdered. Somebody broke into his house and shot the shit out of him. And it was reportedly a black person. And so this guy was a big defund the police, Black Lives Matter, anti-racist, and some black teenager kills him. Now, with this guy, which is why I was just kind of scrolling, it turns out that he was a pedo. And the guy who killed him, this kid right here, was 15 when this liberal douchebag, leftist, journalist started grooming him. So he started grooming this kid when he was 15 and gave him a bunch of drugs and also apparently HIV, and then threatened to blackmail him. And then this kid went ahead and shot him. So if you want me to feel bad about this guy, I don't. Bree says, you can't shake me, as in you can't shake me off as a friend supporter. I love like a dog with a bone. Oh, good. I can't shake you off. Good. Lucky me. I'm glad Bree's here. But anyway, so what happened is you have somebody in Philadelphia who's a journalist and a left-wing defund the police type gets murdered in a violent crime. Now, this one is, association, so do with that what you may. Now, these are going to be, and so I guess the lesson of that one is don't groom kids. Yeah, F that effing guy. Yeah, don't groom kids, because that's not going to turn out so good for you. Now, Ryan Carson is the next one. All of his accounts are locked. And because his girlfriend probably locked him. Now, I'm going to go ahead and show you some of this footage because I think it's actually important to see it. Because we need to talk about everything that goes wrong. Anarchos, I want you to be able to comment. I want you to comment on this one specifically because you'll see everything that's wrong. So these two... let me see if that's actually, that looks okay. That looks okay enough. These two are in Brooklyn. It is 4 o'clock in the morning. What are people doing out at 4 o'clock in the morning in Britain or like in New York? Well, it's a big city. It's a city never sleeps, big nightlife. But don't go out after 10. How I Met Your Mother is right. No good things happen after 10. And until the 2030s, no good thing's going to happen out of 10. So by 10 o'clock, I want all you guys at home. Either in bed or watching Netflix or watching CNN with Bree and her dog. So Anarcho, and so I'm just going to show this footage. So here's a black teen walking, which is somewhat important to the story, but not really. It's important, but not important. And then here's dude, and here's his girlfriend, and they just left a wedding. And you might be able to hear a little bit of stuff, but not really. So that guy goes walking off into the distance. These guys go walking behind him. And he starts dumping bikes. Cole Jenkins, you're walking down the street. You got your lady with you. There's a young male in a hoodie who's smashing bikes. What do you do? I'm going to answer for Cole. Get the fuck out of there. And so he's knocking over bikes, and this dude's like, "Hey, what the hell are you doing?" Now, Mr. Anarchos, let's watch this thing. So this guy's saying chill, and this guy walks. Hey, we got a pause. Ray Ray's in the house. Ray Ray's in the house. Ray Ray's in the house for a horrible episode of the Corona Cafe. Ray, what you've missed is we were talking about defund the police types getting whacked. That's kind of where we're at right now. So where we left off, Ray. These two were sitting on this bench. This young black male walks past them at 4 o'clock in the morning in New York City. He walks this way, then they follow him, and then he starts dumping bikes, and then this dude's like, "Hey, what are you doing?" And so this guy's like, "Yo, F off." And this guy's like, "Hey, back off. Why don't you just calm down? Why don't you calm down?" What you don't see is this guy has a knife in his hands. So, Anarchos, what do you do? Let's go ahead and play the video. So he slashes at him, and the guy's kind of like flopping back, and he like, "Did you see that push?" Chill. Ladies, when you're really mad, don't you like it when we tell you to chill and calm down? And so there's a big sissy, here's a sissy push. And he's kind of like hopping away. He doesn't know what he's doing. And then what you don't see right here is he trips over this. Because he cuts away. And then there's the bench right there. And there's that guy bleeding out because he got stabbed. And they don't show that. I'm not going to show, and they don't actually show the assault that happens. But let's go ahead and do everything wrong here. Number one, they're out in New York City. They're in New York City. Number two, they're out at 4 o'clock in the morning. Number three, they're out at 4 o'clock in the morning in New York City. Number four, there's a young angry male walking past them. Number five, the young angry male starts breaking stuff. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Number five, they wind up following the young angry male. Number six, the young angry male starts dumping stuff, and this guy tells him to stop. Number 6 or 7, he keeps engaging with the angry guy coming towards him with a knife. You fucking run, okay? Let's have a quick talk. The men in the chat are going to talk. It's going to be me and Cole. Got to watch out for that lavalier. I don't want to blow out your ears. Sorry, guys. We're going to have to get used to that. Don't fuck with knives. To everybody in the audience, if I had a guy who was, let's just say, 6 feet in front of me, and he has a knife or a gun, and it's going to go down, I hope he has a gun and not a knife. I have a chance against a gun. I don't have a chance against a knife. If somebody's attacking you with a knife, you fucking run. You just fucking run. And then what is Cole's, the man in the chat? The woman should run. The man should take off his coat and use the coat as a shield and attack like his life depends on it because the assailant will stab him in the back. Yeah, well... So, yeah, pretty much. But I don't know. That guy's a lot taller. He's got long legs. I bet he could run. Now, in my case, and Cole's argument is the correct one. There is a man attacking you and your lady with a knife. Take off your coat and fight that son of a bitch like your life depends on it and let the lady run away. But really, the best kind of thing is, like, you just run. If it doesn't include a kid or a lady. 20-foot rule. Yeah, Cole has a rule of staying 20 feet away from crazy people. Greatest quote of Cole's life. If a crazy person gets on the bus, you get off the bus. Cole's tougher than everybody else on the bus, and he still gets off the bus because you don't fight crazy. Now, let's go back to Ryan Carson real quickly. So he's not alive anymore. So here's the guy. And the lady he was with, and I don't know if I can make this... actually, I did slide that up a little bit. I guess I could have made that video better for you guys, but who cares? So this is the happy couple. Oh, that was one other thing that I wanted to point out, Cole. Don't be a pussy, okay? That's one of the other rules. Remember when I was talking about, like, hey, guys, we need to get strong and swing kettlebells and get tough because you need to be able to, like, fight the Antifas? Well, you might need to fight the angry kids on the street. At the very least, you should be able to pick up a dude and drop him on his head. Like, I would say that's the bare minimum of skills that you need. But here we go. So, here's him cheering when Rush Limbaugh died. This is him cheering on a police station being destroyed, and there's him saying, oh, that's really good. Oh, whoops, I'm sorry, here we go. Go back here real quick. Here's him celebrating Rush Limbaugh dying. Here's him like, oh, yay, this is really good. Like, it's good when so you guys can see it. This is really good. What is this? Oh, the 3rd precinct being destroyed. Oh, yay, let's cheer on police stations being destroyed to help the black people. Let me see. Hi, political organizer here. It's not bullying to hold elected officials accountable. That being said, I would love to shove this little effing nerd in the locker where he belongs. He might be talking about Ben Shapiro. Like, anytime somebody talks about a little effing nerd, like, it's got to be Ben, right? Maybe Tim Pool. He's short, too. They're both shorter than me, so I can say that. But I wish I was as tall as Ray Ray, if we're being honest. Then I would have won. Oh, I forgot he died. Mixed feelings. So, yeah, so he's talking like a badass. So here's another thing, and I want people to understand this about the left. Like, yeah, sure, they want to have like this, big murderous revolution to decolonize all the colonizers, and we're going to talk a lot about that later. And they're keyboard warriors. So this guy's like, I'd stuff that little nerd in the locker. This guy, wait, there we go. This guy's stuffing nerds in a locker. Like, the guy was huge. The guy's 6 foot, like, I think he's 6'2", 6'3", or was. And so he was a big ally. And so all the reports that came out afterwards are like, oh, this is so tragic. It's so sad that our friend, he's such a good, committed person to social justice. So what's the point that I'm trying to make here? These people aren't going to learn. So if you're expecting, like, all the violence and the crap in Israel happening and the crap that's going to happen as a result of all of this stuff, like, for them to wake up, they're not going to wake up. There needs to be a shitload more violence before the left will actually admit that they're wrong. And a lot of them would rather die than admit that they're wrong. Which I always thought was like a big, like, my dad has a quote, and he wouldn't mind me saying this, which is like, what did he say? A liberal is somebody who would rather have their children die than admit that they were wrong. I would say that's a fanatic, but he's got a point. He does have a point. Now, this one's horrible, but I need to show it to you because it's part of it. Ray Ray says being tall is nice most days. Yeah, no, seriously. But I live in a place with, like, everybody's 6'6" and Dutch. Like, I live around all these giant white Yetis. I'm like, yeah, I can take you, though, because I could shank you. Pavel Lapierre. So I don't know if you heard about this one. And actually, maybe we'll jump into this one because it does tie in. Pava Marie Lapierre. So the memes probably aren't really helping. Companies who make their team pages black and white to obscure the fact that 90% of the team is blah, 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 blah. Actually, let me just go ahead and like copy this video that I have saved. Copy this link real quick. Command copy. We're going to open up a new window, Command V, and that should take us directly to this dude's video, which I'm going to play so you can see it. I'm not going to play all of it, but for you to get the idea. Slain Baltimore CEO die of strangulation and blunt force trauma. Documents say. I'm going to read this video real quickly. And maybe it'll play. Jesus, the X platform sucks. Oh, come on, please, 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 please. Oh, well, it doesn't matter. So a very long, it does matter, but it doesn't. Let me see if I can find all the terrible things that they have to say about this lady now that she's dead. So the right wing is just kind of gleefully like, hey, this is so awesome. How about I just tell you what happened? How does that sound? I just tell you what happened. So the story is this lady was walking home. I think it was in Baltimore. She was a tech CEO. She was a big anti-racist, BLM, defund the police, tear down all of the, like, she was a black square in 2020, and one of the very, very far lefty, committed tech Silicon Valley leftist types who buy every single progressive psyop that the CIA cooks up. Okay, she's one of those. So she loves the blacks. So she's walking to her apartment. She's in her building. It's a locked building. And then this dude with neck tattoos was like, hey, yo, hey, I don't have my keys. Let me in. I got my keys. Can I get in? And then she's like, yeah, sure. I'll totally let you into my locked, secure building. And so he gets in, and then he gets into the elevator. And Cole, I'm going to need you again for this story. Tell, in the chat, just say everything that's wrong with this. She's in her building safe. Guy knocks on the door. He's like, hey, yo, and he has a neck tattoo. Do you let him in the building? Okay, neck tattoo guy comes in the building, and he's much bigger than her. The guy's huge. And so then she gets into the elevator, and then he gets into the elevator with him. Do you get into an elevator with a strange man with neck tattoos? Go. And so the end of the story is he brutally rapes her and murders her and beats the fuck out of her. And it's a horrific killing, and I won't go into the details of it. She's dead. She's dead because of her. Don't let him in. Get off the elevator. Exactly. Crazy person on the bus. Crazy. You get off the bus, okay? Stay away from crazy. Stay secure. Until 2030, we don't get to trust nobody. And there will be a solution to it, and it's horrific, and it's actually what I said was going to happen in 2020. So we'll get to that when we talk about Israel. But this is a woman who wound up dying because of a stupid ideology which said it's more important to be nice than be alive. And that's actually what I would say is destroying the West right now, is we don't want to be impolite or rude, and are willing to risk dying as a result of it. So that's that. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the screen because I want to show a couple ones, but I don't have the shows for them, so I have to search. Congresswoman fights off attacker with coffee. NPR. That should be fine. That's the kind of thing I don't really have a problem using NPR for. Rep. Angie Craig told police she fought off an attacker using hot coffee. Representative Angie Craig, Democrat, Minnesota, is bruised but otherwise okay after fighting off an attacker in the elevator of her D.C. apartment building. Don't get into an elevator with these people. Police say the suspected assailant, 26-year-old Kenrick Hamlin, is in custody charged with simple assault. The attack did not appear to be politically motivated, said Craig's chief of staff, Nick Coe, in a statement. According to police report, Craig spotted her assailant in the lobby of her apartment complex around 7:10 a.m. The man was acting erratic, as if he was under the influence of some unknown substance, Craig told police. She said good morning to the man before she entered the elevator. The man followed her in and began to randomly do push-ups, the report says. Don't get into elevators with strange guys. And Ray doesn't leave the house anymore. Ray, you need to leave the house. You got to go touch grass, okay? Go for walks, okay? If you don't go for walks, you're going to go crazy. And you got to burn some calories, okay? Like, I did a walk with my dogs yesterday. It was just like a mile, and I was like, man, that was like 250 calories. That's like half a cheeseburger from McDonald's. Anyways, which the McDonald's cheeseburger is quite good. I've been getting their chicken sandwich recently because they've really stepped up their game on their chicken sandwiches, and it's also a bigger block of protein. But I digress. The man then punched Craig on the chin and grabbed her neck, according to the report. Craig told police she threw hot coffee on the man, who then fled. Hey, everybody, ladies, everybody, get that hot coffee, okay? I want you to walk around with hot coffee. Now, I'm drinking a Diet Pepsi right now because I need to calm the F down because, man, we've been talking about murder and, grooming and, assault and rape. Oh, man. This is the light part of the show. This is the friendly, happy, fluffy fucking bunnies part of the show. So I'm not drinking coffee right now. I'm drinking Diet Pepsi, which is superior to Diet Coke. But anyways, here's the thing. And I think about this all the time. And when I used to live downtown Albuquerque, I always walked around with hot coffee because you know what sucks? Boom, hot coffee in your face. What are you going to do when you're like, ah? You're going to drop your knife because you're going to go, ah. All right? Or you're not going to attack it because you go, ah. Cole's got to go in 10 minutes. Okay, well, you can save yourself the struggle of listening to my Iraq and Palestinian side part of the show. We might actually get into the beginning of it because I'm almost done with this. Actually, there might be a couple more because I do have a point here. Actually, you can see the first segment of the show, and it's a great segment, Cole, and that might be a great time to sign off. So let's go back to, the sheets. The man then punched Craig on, so he's doing push-ups randomly. So guy gets into an elevator doing push-ups. Maybe he's crazy. The man then punched Craig on the chin and grabbed her neck, according to the report. Creasel threw hot coffee on the man, who then fled. Police said that he did not immediately find the attacker after searching the basement-level parking garage. A bulletin asking for public tips on its location offered a $1,000 reward. Suspect was arrested a few hours later. She's also, she was a big, I don't think they have any of this stuff here because it's NPR. She was an anti-racist, defund the police Minnesota rep from blah, 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 blah. She was a black square, okay? I don't know if she put black square in her profile, but she's one of them. Okay, so let's go to another one. DNC councilwoman. Front of kids. So, here's the New York Post. So I'm sure they're going to be real friendly to her. Anti-cop Minnesota Democrat Party official left bloodied in violent carjacking now calls for tougher whatever. Hey. Okay, yeah, sure, allow ads. I don't give a crap. Okay, click ad blast icon extension. I'm clicking on it. Back to main. What the hell? WTF. Well, we're not using that link. Oh, the Blaze. I'm sure they'll be even nicer. The Blaze is Glenn Beck's far right outlet. No, I don't need any bullets. Democrat official violently carjacked in front of her children had previously supported dismantling the police. There's her Shrivanthi Samalalawastan. Let me see if they had her quote. Vice chairwoman of the Democratic Farmer Labor Party in Minnesota, who was violently carjacked in front of her children, had previously called to dismantle the police. Shrivanthi Sadananan posted on Facebook a photograph of her bloodied face and detailed injuries she sustained in the carjacking incident. Yesterday, my children and I were violently carjacked in the driveway of our home in Minneapolis, wrote Samar. 4 very young men, all carrying guns, beat me violently down to the ground in front of our kids. The young men held up our neighbors at gunpoint when they ran over and tried to help me. All in broad daylight. The carjacking occurred at 7:45 p.m. Okay, 10 isn't late. 10's too late. And that lady, the tech CEO, she was killed during the day. It was like in the afternoon, I think, or the morning. I mean, it was daytime. Carjacking occurred at 7:45 p.m. on Tuesday in front of his home. She went to say that she had a broken leg, deep lacerations on her head, and bruising and cuts all over her body. Look at my face in the picture. The face of a mother who just had the shit beaten out of her, she added. This woman got the shit kicked out of her. They fucked her up and broke her leg. And all the assailants were young black men. And so she was a big ally. She was a big ally. Black square, defund the police. It's racist to lock up criminals. Just go ahead and let them out on the streets. And then some of these young, fine, fucking criminals, like lock up violent felons. And I got to say something, okay? Because this ain't about the blacks. It's about the blacks because all these people are like, oh, we love the blacks so much. And now they're like, oh, we need to lock up all the blacks, okay? Because that's coming, okay? That is coming. Democrats are going to be like the most pro-fucking, like, criminal justice reform, lock up all the blacks party that you've ever fucking seen. Like, the whiplash you're going to see is unbelievable. It's going to be unbelievable. They're going to be like, we're just fucking locking up every male in the United States. Because, like, if we're getting real for a second, young men commit 90% of violent crime. And I'm not even going to look that up. So, anyways, what's the point of this? Which is, so they created a system where we're letting out a bunch of criminals and not penalizing violent crime. Let me see if I can find some. I'm just going to do a quick search and see if I can find the video. I might have played it for you in the old Corona Cafe, but I don't know. George Floyd riot. Let me see if we can, let's go to media. We'll click on media, so maybe we can do this. No, we're not, we're going to just go top. Because a lot of those videos wound up getting deleted. I should have recorded all that crap. But there's specifically one video where it looked like The Purge. And I mean, seriously, there's just people doing donuts in a fucking intersection in New York with like cops just sort of running and just crazy, crazy shit going on. Anyways, but I can't find it. So, Cole, we need you again. Young men get free license to commit a bunch of crime and just sack shit. Okay, we get the freedom to sack shit, and then we sit around bored. Nothing is as high as sacking shit. That's a good dopamine rush. Boom, man, we're getting... And so, boom, a bunch of young men were wired for, man, we need to go get us some action, and we're not going to get in trouble for it. Woo! And so there was a hope among the Democrats that all of this crime would basically keep Trump out of office. What it really comes down to is we're going to go ahead and give Antifa and Black Lives Matter free reign to go ahead and just like beat up every Trump rally. And so Trump won't get elected and everything will be good because we'll stop Hitler or whatever, which we're going to talk more about that when we talk to Israel, Palestine. But they're like, okay, we're just going to let all these people... Now they're victims of the crime that they have unleashed on all of us, okay? You have left-wing activists and left-wing politicians all getting killed by their fucking Frankenstein. These people were the real monster. Dr. Frankenstein was the monster, not the monster, okay? That's why it's called Frankenstein, not the monster. Okay, it's Dr. Monster. Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. It's about Frankenstein. The doctor is the bad guy. So these bad guys created a monster that is now attacking everybody. And so at some point they're going to say, oh, we need to do something about this, which they're going to do very shortly. But that basically is all I have for left-wing people suffering from the stupidity of their fucking decisions. Oh, actually I do have a little bit more on this, which is the right is just fucking giddy about it. Like they love this. They love this. The right is so happy about left-wing people getting killed because of their own stupid fucking ideas. Dems just turned all the conservative and moderate blacks into Trumpers. Oops. And the Mexicans too. But we'll see. They're going to do their damnedest to steal the election, but we'll see if all this... Well, actually, very quickly before you got to go. The Democrats also had a combined, like... You know, it's like they also love, let me see. So all the let's get real for a second. I'm going to scoot in. A lot of Democrats are Jews, okay? And a lot of Democrats love fucking Palestine too. And so you got this group of people. But the Palestinian and Israeli thing's really fucking up their coalition. And that's actually going to cause further problems. Like, you know, blacks don't like Jews either. Okay, if we're being honest for a second, they ain't a big fan. Blacks and Jews do not get along. And there's reasons for that. The reasons are basically like gentrification and that kind of stuff. And what happens is black communities get impoverished and like, you know, it's the redlining of back of the day. Long story short, black community gets redlined, the economy tanks, all the values of the land goes down, there's a lot of crime, and then somebody moves into the neighborhood, fix up a building. And so that's gentrification. Now, what happened with a lot of Jews in New York City and these other big places is Jews moved in. And then they did business with Jews and didn't like the blacks so much. So the blacks got pushed out. And the same thing happened with the Asians. Same thing happened with the Indians. Same thing happens, blah, 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 blah. And so black people keep getting pushed off their land. And then the people who come in discriminate against the blacks who are there. And then it just creates a whole bunch of fucking racial resentment, which we will be talking about shortly in regards to Israel and Gaza. I don't know where I was going with that whole one. Oh, the coalition's fucking fracturing. Trump actually, you know, I don't think Trump has a chance of winning. And at the same time, man, his chances are better than ever. Jesus Christ, are these people fucking stupid. I'm going to move on though, because that's the end of that. Now, I'm going to get into the Israeli-Palestinian thing. which is all over the place. Okay, so I'm going to warn you that I'm going to be possibly more all over the place than I normally am with this one because it's just a fucking mess. But let's just go Paratroopers Rave. See if we can get any of that footage. So this is part of where it kicked off. And so let's actually blow this video up a little bit so you can see it better. So we're raving. We're raving. We're raving. Oh, what the fuck's that? We're raving. Oh, there's parachutes. This is pretty sick. There's parachutes coming into the rave. Oh, look at her titties. Oh, paratroopers. More titties. There's no more titties. I lied. And then here's all the fucking ravers running. There's like so many of them. It's kicking. It starts kicking up dust. This turns into a cloud in other videos. So what happened? These paratroopers. Actually, I might need to get a freaking Israel rave map. Israel rave map, and that might Israel rave map. And I might need to set up the story, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if there's an image of this. Ah, Jesus. We're not doing that. Rave in Israel attacked. Map. So it's not coming up like immediately, so I'm just going to show you something real quick. In Anarchos, if you're still here, Ray just wants to be able to afford groceries again. Well, according to Paul Krugman, inflation's way better, so it's not going to get better. Actually, inflation will get a little better in regards to that, but not much. Actually, we'll see what happens with gas prices. Let's backtrack a little bit, because I want to set the table. Like I said, this is going to be all over the place. Less than a week ago, on one of the holiest days to the Israeli people and 50th anniversary of their country having its worst war in the past 100 years, Israel got attacked. They got attacked by Palestinians from Gaza by land, sea, and air. And you can see that. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back. You can see the paratroopers coming in. That rave was like right fucking there. Oh, whoops, I took, okay. It's like right there. And so, guys, I just want to ask you a question. And if you know nothing about the conflict between these two, just understand there's some sort of conflict between these two. Would you rave on the fucking border of Gaza? Arguably the world's largest open-air prison. Like, this place is only a few square miles, and there's 2 million people living there. It's one of the most densely populated places on Earth. We're talking like Tokyo density, but with African poverty. And these two places, Israel and Palestine, or Gaza, Israel and also the West Bank, have kind of been at war with each other forever. Like, for a long time. They really don't like each other. Like, these groups really, really, really don't like each other. So I got to back out a little bit. So the question is, would you rave next to a bunch of people that hate you? Would you have like bumping music? They could hear the music over the wall while these kids are dancing and taking Molly powder and shit. Nope. So what happened is paratroopers came in, and at this rave, just like, if I can see all these people dancing to shitty music, 250 of them got gunned down or kidnapped. Okay, like, these guys are just partying, and then titties, and then in no time, a bunch of guys with M4s. Now, I think Cole actually left, which is unfortunate because he would be able to answer this one. M4s. Do you know what the M4 is? Let's go right here real quickly. M4. Oh, it's that. Oh, it's that. It's a bunch of, war rifles, recreate our carbines. Okay, so Bree would call them an assault rifle. These are American guns. These are American guns. The United States manufactures these. These guys weren't using Kalashnikovs. They weren't using AK-47s. They were using American weapons to kill Jews. Which we're going to talk more about that in a minute. So I did have a big question, which was, how the fuck did this happen? So Israel's got one of the most secure borders on the planet. How in the F did 1,000 Hamas militants wind up getting in there and just killing people? How the fuck did that happen? How'd that happen? And Ray, I understand that you want to be able to afford groceries again, which is the biggest concern of most Americans, which is why people are usually good at foreign policy or local policy, but rarely they're good at both. Joe Biden's doing bad on both. So how they get in? So I'm going to go in between Schultz, Twitter. So how did they get in? My guess is incompetence. However, it could be nefarious. Here's why. As a result, I'll read this and then dig into it and then go back. And here's why. Patriot Act 2.0. Incompetence equals big tech beating. Wait, man, my notes are crazy, Bree. You need to talk to me about something. So let's just say some nefarious things. Okay, we'll just talk about nefarious things and the conspiracy theories and we will get into the conspiracy theories and the information war that's a result of this because I'm trying to protect your minds. And actually, Ray, focusing on groceries is the right thing to do. That is absolutely the right thing to do with all the shit that I've been talking about. Focus on your own life, your own problems, take care of the shit, ignore what's happening in big cities with crime, ignore what's happening with, but don't get into elevators with nobody. And ignore what's going on in Israel and Gaza because if you watch this, you will get sucked into it, okay? You will just get sucked directly into it in whatever propaganda you're getting hit with, whether you're seeing Palestinian dead babies, if you're seeing Israeli dead babies, you're going to be like, oh my God, look at them. They're killing dead babies. We should kill other babies. It'll make you genocidal. What they're doing, and this actually goes back to the previous segment of left-wingers getting killed by crazy people, the right wing's cheering it on. The right wing's become genocidal. The left wing has become genocidal. We have genocidal groups of people in the modern age who are just they're fucking ready to go commit a Holocaust, which I never thought would fucking happen, but shows how smart I am. Why are you watching my show? Anyway, so nefarious things. Nefarious things are, they let it happen. Why would they let it happen? Well, one is a land grab. So we'll get into this again, but Gaza is going to get flattened. The end result of this is Gaza is going to get fucking leveled by the Israelis. Is it going to be gone forever? Nope. Are they going to take more territory? You bet. Are they going to kill a bunch of people? You bet. And so there's going to be a big land grab. And what does that mean? Oh, it means construction. So they're going to have to, raise those buildings, clear them out, build new walls, put in new foundations, put in utilities, put in all this other stuff. In order to be able to do the reconstruction, and that means guys are going to make millions of dollars. Who cares if 1,000 people die? We're going to get millions of dollars. That's really the fucking attitude of these people. And so I'd say there are some opportunists besides that. There's also the security state, here's the big conspiracy theory, which is they allowed it to happen in order to crack down on Gaza, and the crackdown on Gaza is going to cause a bunch of people to really act out, and then you'll have a bunch of terrorism as a result of it, and then as a result of all that terrorism, they're going to be able to institute a Patriot Act 2.0, except it'll be across the entire West, and they'll have some sort of digital ID thing that's attached to you on the blockchain or with your crypto or whatever the fuck it is, and then you'll have to walk around with this thing all the time to verify who you are, and then you'll get a social credit score. So this is a way of just kind of putting all of us in the social credit score prison, and surveillance state prison, which will not affect us that much. In the Corona Cafe, most of you are not going to be affected too much by this stuff. It'll be inconvenient, it'll be annoying, but we're not exactly the targets, okay? We're not a bunch of fucking criminals running around, so what do we have to worry about, sort of? But the problem is it is going to curtail your rights. I mean, it's going to equal like them monitoring everything, like everything. Which the problem with that is if they're monitoring everything and you screw up in the future, like 20 years from now, Ray decides to run for office and she tells like whatever her donor class says, hey, I want you to do this, and she's like, no, F you, and they're going to be like, oh, well, it looks like you're into this kind of porn. Be a real shame if that got out, huh, Ray? So that's the scary part of this shit. So I'm going to go ahead and read this and see if it makes any sense. My guess is incompetence. So, oh yeah, incompetence. So basically, and there's threads on the timeline of this stuff, which I haven't looked at because I don't want to dig in too much to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict because of all the fucking gore and dead babies. I don't like seeing dead babies. Where was I going with this? Incompetence. So, like, they had their border wall, and then they have, like, the guard tower and the command center. Like, one of the first things the Palestinians did, they paratroop in there. They also come by boats. They're using very low-grade technology, very, like, dumb technology. And so, like, the remote controlling, like, I can see the remote control, and then, boom, the drone winds up hitting a guard tower, and then hits another tower. They gunned down Israeli soldiers while they were sleeping. They were caught that unprepared. And so the communications go down, and then they had all of like the bulldozers and all that shit ready to just knock down the wall and go in there. I got to cover another thing. We need to go back to our little map for a second, because here's where the propaganda war kicks in. So they wound up attacking some cities in this area. I don't know exactly. And they're also launching rockets into Israel. This is the occupied territory, okay? So, like, the Palestinians have just been pushed back. And then Israelis started building cities all around them, okay? And so here's a little city, here's a little city. And so they're like, oh, these are all settlers. Like, settlers on illegally stolen land in their lifetime. Like, this land was stolen in their lifetime. And then there's some Jews who go in and build cities right there. And also have pogroms going on. What's a pogrom? Pogrom is when you have a dominant, and this is my own definition, it's not the real definition, when you have an ethnic class that has a majority that goes and attacks the ethnic minority in a state-sanctioned attack. What does that mean? They can go ahead and attack the minority without any repercussions whatsoever. So Israelis were going into these settlements, an occupied area, and were saying, like, death to the Palestinians, we're going to kill you all, we're moving all your land, we're going to genocide you, etc., etc. And they did kill people. I mean, they beat the fuck out of some people. And there were some big ones, okay? We're talking, like, hundreds of people getting injured by, like, these marching groups of Jews going, not specifically into Gaza, but into the surrounding areas and just saying, F you Muslims. Racial hatred. This whole fight is, like, there's a whole bunch of racial hatred. Now let's go back real quickly. So, incompetence, Oh, that's one of the moral arguments that's being made. One of the moral arguments that's being made, here's the two big moral arguments being made. The Palestinians have had their land stolen from them for 100 years and have been pushed into the world's largest open-air prison, and have largely just been fucked over by the Israelis and the West and the Zionists especially, to where they will eventually be genocided. And by genocide, they don't need to be killed. They could just be like, you know, just have such poverty that they wind up dying off, or they're like, there's a diaspora where they just get spread to the wind, and they lose all their land. Now, the Palestinians have been fucked over, okay? So that's one of the things that really makes the right-wingers upset when I say this. The Palestinians have been screwed over. The Palestinians have been so screwed over. It's kind of like how the blacks in America have been screwed over, okay? So these two groups have been screwed over, and as a result, they become a product of their environment and become very angry and murderous and dangerous. Now, here's, like, I can hold two things in my head at the same time, which is, what's happened to these groups is terrible, but that doesn't mean we should put up with these groups murdering civilians. Is that hard? Is that hard? Is that fucking hard? But then what happens is you get into an argument of like, well, if they're settlers, so if they're settlers in stolen land, You know, they're like enemy combatants. They're not innocent civilians. In this case, they're active participants in a conflict as a result of just being there. And that's what's so dangerous about this anti-colonialism shit. Anti-colonialism equals genocide. It's just that, you know, the word happens 10 years before the genocide. So we still got about 4 years before this shit gets real bad, but that's where anti-colonialism leads you. So now I can get into my notes. My guess is incompetence, however, it could be nefarious. Here's why. Patriot Act 2.0, incompetence equals dumb tech beating big tech. Maybe they couldn't see parachutes from a low altitude, which is true. In Russia, Ukraine, the targeting systems couldn't lock on to the Iranian drones because they weren't advanced enough. So they were looking for, I'm just going to say they were looking for something like, you know, it's, you know, digital versus analog. So they were looking for a digital signature, but all of the, and this is not exactly true, but it's kind of true. It's directionally true. They were looking for a digital signature when there was an analog weapon coming their way. So it's just, it was invisible to their sensors. So they're not able to shoot them down. So what does this mean? The most secure place on the planet just had 1,000 of their citizens murdered as a result. The shit's going to go off the chain. What if they use Patriot Act 2.0 as a way of policing the entire West? How bad is the backlash going to be? It's going to be a decentralized hybrid war. Open link. So what's a hybrid war? Hybrid warfare is a theory of military strategy first proposed by Frank Hoffman. Smart guy, I don't know Frank. Which employs political warfare and blends conventional warfare, irregular warfare, and cyber warfare with other influencing methods such as fake news, diplomacy, lawfare, foreign electoral intervention. By combining kinetic operations with subversive efforts, the aggressor intends to avoid attribution or retribution. The concept of hybrid warfare has been criticized by a number of academics and practitioners due to its alleged vagueness, its disputed consecutive elements, and alleged historical whatever. Cool. What does this mean? So you have political warfare, which is causing political division. So check, we got that going on. And blends conventional warfare. Oh, that is kinetic warfare. So bullets, bombs, that shit. Irregular warfare, where let's see what this one is. Irregular warfare is defined in the United States joint doctrine as a violent struggle among state and non-state actors for legitimacy and influence over the relevant populations. In practice, control of institutions and infrastructure is also important. Concepts associated with regular warfare are older than the term itself. Blah, 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 blah. Here's some history, boring shit. What does this mean? States versus terrorists. How do you attack Al Qaeda when they don't have a country? How do you attack terrorists when they don't have a country? You can't, like, that's basically what that is. And then we have cyber warfare, which we all know what that is. But there's also going to be, like, cyber warfare goes into fake news. So we're going to see a bunch of fake news that winds up coming out about this stuff. So let's talk about the 40 dead babies. There's no evidence of 40 babies that had their heads chopped off, which is really bad. It's really, really, really bad. Let me go back to my shotes. I'm getting a little sick to my stomach because I hate this story. Like, I hate looking at all of this stuff. It's actually making me physically sick. I don't feel good about it. This is terrible. Whatever. Let me go to manufactured consent, and maybe that'll cover like what I was thinking here. Manufactured consent. If you read my article about dead Palestinian and Israeli babies. So what they're trying to do is the Israelis and Palestinians are pumping all of us full of propaganda. And propaganda doesn't need to be lies. Okay, propaganda is information that's trying to get you to come to a conclusion that the source of the propaganda wants you to come to. Okay? Or to have some sort of result. And so here we go. The beheaded baby stories cannot be confirmed, however, it's circling the globe. Imagine if an enemy was killing babies. Who wouldn't be furious about that? That's why it's perfect for manufacturing consent. So does manufacturing... Jews, proxy Jews. You're back. Cole, you missed a big section. But I hope you had a good call. So let's just, manufacturing consent. So that's a term from Chomsky, which is basically you show the public a bunch of propaganda that makes them, like, you know, just saber rattle and angry and then go attack a nation. So when they had, Palestinians dancing in the streets during 9/11, manufacturing consent. What does Palestinians dancing in Palestine celebrating the attack of 9/11 really have to do with 9/11? Nothing, but it makes us think less of the Palestinians. So I'm going to go back over here, and there's a story. Here's the story. The story is that 40, and it hasn't been confirmed or anything, but when let's talk about the attack. That's a good place to start. So the rave got attacked, military infrastructure got attacked. They also went home to home and started murdering people. There's a lot of video of just, people at bus stops getting gunned down. I'm talking about women and children. I'm talking about like old ladies with walkers and toddlers just getting fucking like annihilated with automatic rifles by a wave of, you can call them terrorists. I wouldn't call them freedom fighters. I mean, freedom fighters don't just gun down fucking old women at bus stops. So a bunch of terrorists go in and they kill all these people. And then they go house to house, executing people in front of their parents, executing parents in front of their children, kidnapping parents and children, separating families. They've taken over 150 hostages. Where is I going with this? There is a point. Oh yeah, there is a point. And so then, so 1,000 dead Israelis. That's huge. That's gigantic. Those numbers are gigantic for a country the size of Israel. I want to say it's like the equivalent of like 100,000 Americans being killed or something like that. Maybe not that, but tens of thousands. So let's just go back to here. And so manufacturing consent. Oh yeah, and so there was like stories that a bunch of babies were beheaded. 40. Which cannot be confirmed because it came from a Israeli propagandist journalist who got it from an Israeli official. Now, why would they create a fake story? I have had some conservatives ask me. Well, does it make you really angry when you hear about dead babies? Let's go ahead and go back to my notes. That's why it's perfect for manufacturing consent. Allegedly, Andrew Jackson went ballistic when and that was our president, Andrew Jackson, went ballistic when he saw babies murdered in an outpost. So the way the story, and horrific shit, and so allegedly there was a report of an attack on an outpost, and this was when he was still in the military. This was before he was president, I think, or maybe he was president and he went down. I think he actually might have been president, went down. I don't remember exactly. I haven't read this shit in 15, 20 years. But he goes to this outpost, and they were just massacred by some indigenous tribe, and we're talking like raped and murdered women. They took babies, graphic, trigger warning, took babies, grabbed them by their ankles, and slammed them against walls, okay? And then just that shit. And so when Andrew Jackson saw those dead babies, fucking lost it. Horrible stuff. Stayed with him for the rest of his life. He would dream about it. And so how did that turn out for the indigenous Americans? Ask any indigenous person what they think about Andrew Jackson. Okay? Well, that's what's going to happen to Gaza. Okay? So with manufacturing consent, if you have dead babies, all across the screens, people say, fuck no, not dead babies. Like, we will put up with a lot of stuff. That shit we don't put up with, and anybody who's cool with that shit needs to go. And that would be the majority. That's 80% of humanity who's just like, nah, fucking kill him. Just fucking kill him. Just fucking kill him. Just fucking kill him. I've had it, fucking kill him. And so that's why they would lie about that story, because it's getting a whole bunch of consent and people choosing the Israeli side. Now, why do they want to level Gaza and the attack? Here's a go. Why do they want to level Gaza, and why did Gaza attack? So it's the Abraham Peace Accords. This was the Palestinians' last shot, kind of like American blacks. This is it. Very soon, nobody's going to care. Further, Israel wants to build housing there. So what do I mean by, in short, nobody's going to care? So let's go to blacks in America. So, blacks in America, 2020, highest approval rating that they've ever had, and it's been declining ever since, okay? Because of the crime and shit that we talked about earlier, okay? So that's like losing them points. And we'll talk, this dovetails into this issue too. So it winds up losing them points, and they're going to lose credibility. And what will happen is, we just brought in 10 million fucking people in this administration illegally across the border. Okay, so what's going to happen with all these new Americans? Do they have any ties to slavery? Nope. Are they even white or black? Nope. Do they give a fuck? Nope. Do they want their tax dollars going to black people? Nope. They're not going to care. They're just not going to care. They're going to lose all their political capital in a generation. And goodwill. and then they're just fucked. They're going to be in a Gaza ghetto. Then you have like Gaza. What's the result of this? Oh well. Oh, they're killing babies. Oh, we don't give a fuck anymore. Oh, I'm sorry. That's actually not that point. There was the Oslo Peace Accords, not the Oslo Peace Accords, the Abraham Peace Accords. So President Donald Trump created an alliance, financial alliance between the UAE, the United Arab Emirates, some other countries, and Israel, to where they're going to be trading. They're just going to have their economies tied together. Okay. Saudi Arabia was even looking at getting in on it. Which, to give you an idea, Israelis and the Saudis working together, to give you an idea of just the dire straits that the Palestinians were in it. You're talking about the mother, like the holiest site, two of the holiest sites in all of Islam, three of the holiest sites in all of Islam, two are in Saudi Arabia, and those are number 1 and number 2. Number 3 is in Jerusalem. And so you have like the Jews and the most extreme sect of Islam working together. Man, the Palestinians are screwed. So this was their last chance. Like if they didn't do something now, they were gonna fuck it. They were just done. Like their probable, almost certain future was they were gonna get genocided within 100 years. The Palestinians would no longer exist. So that's why they fucking attacked. And so the victims, so those settlers were illegal settlers. The land was stolen from the Palestinians, and those are the people who were stealing it. Further, the Israelis were having pogroms against the Palestinians for a while. They were poking the bear, and the bear bit them. Yeah, that's it. That's it. I covered enough of that. Now, why am I bringing up Black Lives Matter and that kind of whatever? Well, let's go back to our friend Twitter. We'll do search BLM Palestine. Oh, look. Oh, it's there. That's great.
And if
this isn't an old video, but it don't matter.
the other thing I'll say is Palestine is our generation in South Africa. And if we don't step up boldly and courageously to end the imperialist project that's called Israel, we're doomed. And I think that I had learned about Palestine for a long time. I had known about it, been wanting to travel, and I was really, really grateful when the Dream Defenders asked me to come on the delegation. But nothing would have prepared me for the level of militarization and the level of violence that we would witness those 10 days inside of Palestine. Nothing would have prepared me for the ways in which we witness people's terror. People live in terror on a daily basis. And nothing would have prepared me for how much clarity I would have on why we have to be a part of Palestinian solidarity.
So there's solidarity between Black Lives Matter and the Palestinians. Now, I want to actually, this is going to go into the narrative war. So this is James Wood, actor James Wood. He played Hades in Hercules. You know, we all love James Wood. Okay, there we go. Right-wing fanatic. All right, BLM founder Patrice Cullors in 2015 calling for the eradication of Israel. Palestine is our generation South Africa. If we don't step up boldly and courageously put an end to the imperialist project called Israel, we are doomed. I'm going to get to your comment in just a second, Cole. So I don't know if that's exactly what she said. I think she was, talking about the plight of the Palestinians, and I don't think she's talking about wiping Israel off the map. I could see how people come up with that. But this is part of she said something, there's somebody else who says something about it, and this is manufacturing consent. This is creating a narrative. You're watching it right here. Cole's comment. It's only stealing if you don't conquer the locals. Conquering the locals is called colonialism, and it really helps to spread the more advanced society's technologies and culture, which is better for everybody. Yeah, but these people are anti-colonialists, okay? Their big thing, and we're talking about the left wing in general, the radical left when you talk about it, they are anti-colonialists. And what does that mean? Kill the colonialists. That's what we've fucking invited. The Democratic Party has invited genocide as part of their ethos, but it's an internal genocide, not an external one like the conservatives do. But this is really what I was looking for. Black Lives Matter Chicago. That's all that is. I stand with Palestine. So Here is a picture of a paratrooper. The same people who went and murdered 250 people at a rave. I stand with the people who murdered 2 people at a rave. And so is that one account? Yeah, sure. But there was, I don't see it right now. Oh, there we go. Black Lives Matter grassroots stand in solidarity with our Palestinian family who are currently resisting 57 years of settler colonialism and apartheid. It's actually been more like 120. As black people continue to fight and end militarism and mass incarceration in our own communities, let us understand the resistance in Palestine as an attempt to tear down the gates of the world's largest open-air prison. As a radical black organization grounded in abolitionist ideas, we see clear parallels between the black and Palestinian people. Black Lives Matter, another Black Lives Matter group. Okay, so there's more solidarity. And then there was also, I don't remember which one. Shit, I don't remember. Sorry, there's too many things, like, there's too many inputs. And I think it was Black Lives Matter LA came out and said stuff. And so we're going to do, I'm going to do protests, Palestine protests. Maybe that'll show up. So here's support for Palestine protest. There's some more. So this is from Brian Kranzenstein, and this is funny. So Brian Kranzenstein, possibly Jewish, is a big Democrat, left-wing journalist, propagandist, anti-Trumpist. So this guy spread every lie to get Trump out of office, and it sounds like he's Jewish. But this guy is Democrat, 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 Democrat. Got it? This is so incredibly disgusting. The pro-Palestinian college student activism group Students for Justice in Palestine, SJP, is calling for college students across the United States and other nations to host a day of resistance for protest for liberating colonized land in Israel by any means necessary. I once again say this, calling for violence against Israel after terrorists murdered innocent people is different from protesting for peace and for the rights of the Palestinian people. So there's this one. So there's a whole bunch of colleges that are having, like, we need to support the Palestinians. I don't know if I had this one bookmarked. And they're just showing the same fucking videos over again. Okay, so French police are cracking down on the pro-Hamas protest after the French government banned all Palestinian demonstrations. Okay, there we got something. Now, I forgot this little bit of history lesson. This is part of why this is such a nebulous, messed up story and I'm all over the place. Hamas is a terrorist organization, according to the West. And I would say Hamas is a terrorist organization. They deliberately kill civilians, target children, women. So Gaza and the West Bank were run by the Palestinian Authority. Palestinian Authority was like, basically, they're the government. And then this is where it gets messed up, and Anarchos can back me up on this if he's still here, which is one of the ways that intelligence services operate, and we'll just say the United Kingdom is part of this, America is part of this, and Israel is part of this, is stirring stirring up old tribal hatred to divide and conquer, okay? And so what they did is they empowered and encouraged, fucking the United States created Al-Qaeda with the Mujahideen, okay? And that's important to this too. So we created Al-Qaeda, okay? It's a fucking lab leak. Proxy wars and tribal instability. So it's a lab leak. Hamas is a lab leak. ISIS is a lab leak. Like, the fucking MS-13 gang members is a lab leak. Like, the CIA has gone across the globe fucking radicalizing groups of people so they can destabilize regions and play their, like, 4D chess global, the entire, like, world is a chessboard, so we can take all their resources and put everything in, like, we'll just be in power and it'll work out great. Fucking great. Just like it worked out fucking great for the Israelis, am I right? So I think it was 2008, 2006 or something like that. And this was after the second Intifada. So that's when you had, like, you literally had suicide bombers from Gaza and the West Bank. I think it was the West Bank too, going into Israel and blowing up fucking kindergartens, shooting up kindergartens. I mean, literally, they were blowing up toddlers. They were blowing up buses. They were blowing up weddings. They were blowing up fucking bar mitzvahs. In fact, it doesn't matter. That's beside the point. I was near one of those bombings. Not when it happened, but right there. The worst fucking bombing in all of Israel was like fucking a 5-minute walk from where all my friends live over there. So I do have, so I got to be honest. So just for clarity, my bias is pro-Israel. I'm able to somewhat keep that in check by not getting too inundated with this stuff. And part of my bias is I have a lot of friends over there that I care a lot about. I mean, I would call them family. Because you know somebody for 20 years have become family. So let's just go back to the protests. And we'll find other protests. French police are cracking down on the pro-Hamas protest after. So these people. So here's the other thing. It's like I stand with Palestine. They're also saying I stand with Hamas, a terrorist organization, and I stand with a terrorist organization that just murdered 1,000 innocent people. And so the French cracked down on that. That's going to get real important. Let me see. Let's do Palestine, England, death 2. Okay, let's see if I can find that one. I don't have that saved quickly, so I'll just tell you. There were protests in the UK, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas, pro-Gaza protests, where they were calling for the eradication of all the Jews in Israel. Which, to give you an idea of what the UK is, a guy got arrested. It's still the UK. A YouTuber who got his little pug to go, like he raised his hand and he's like, "Oh my God, I've got this problem." I don't remember the video. I don't even think it's Count Dankula. So if you want to search this Count Dankula Nazi salute video. Okay, so Count Dankula's got his pug and he's like, "Oh my God, guys, I've got this problem with my dog. He's a Nazi." They're like, "What?" "Yeah, no, look at my pug. He like won't stop." And so he's like, "Heil Hitler, Heil Hitler." He's like, "Look, I have a Nazi dog. What am I supposed to do?" He went to fucking jail over that. Over a YouTube joke in the UK. Now these people are calling for the fucking extermination, genocide of the Jews, which, oh my God, that already happened in Europe once. Actually, it's happened in Europe twice, but that already happened in Europe in recent history. In fact, we call everybody fucking Nazis who disagree with us. So if you're wearing a MAGA hat that says MAGA, you're a Nazi. But if you're counting, like, fucking calling for the eradication of the Israelis on your hat, you're not a Nazi. I want to kill all the Jews, not a Nazi. I'm wearing a hat, Nazi. Kill all the Jews, not a Nazi. Fucking crazy. But there's a point that I was getting to here, and I lost some of the point. But here's the point. The UK is going to craft a law that's illegal to have a protest in favor of Palestine and also calling for the death of the Jews. And so do you remember in 2020 when I was talking about all these kids who are rioting, they're fucked. Like, they're so screwed because our big data collection machine is still catching all this data. Sure, we've got Biden in the administration. We have like a sort of left-wing government, which it's still fucking militaristic as shit. So, left, right wing don't matter anymore, but it's really progressive. So anyways, so like you have this progressive, but the data's still out there. The data lives forever. It's on the internet forever. And so what's happening with all these protests, these like devices that we carry, they're pinging each other. They're pinging wireless towers. They're pinging routers trying to connect to all of them. The UK government and the French government now has a list of everybody who is either sympathetic or a radical to the Palestinian cause. Okay, what these people are doing is these left-wing, pro-Islamic, whatever factions are putting their hand up, and they're getting put in a database somewhere. And at some point, Europe is going to deal with the problem that they have with Muslims. Okay, and I'm sorry I said that indelicately if it gets clipped or whatever, but like, there's a huge problem with this many migrants coming into Europe who don't have the same values as Europeans, causing a bunch of fucking problems. And you know what? Like, they're bold enough to march in the street and call for the extermination of the Jews, and then the government's going to say you can't do that no more. And then, what are they going to do? Hybrid warfare. it's going to be a bunch of propaganda and videos of like, I was at a protest and the cops kicked me and blah, 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 blah. And then you'll see some girl crying on video and everybody's going to be like, oh, the poor girl and blah, 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 blah. How about also using crude weapons against an advanced opponent? So you have like the most advanced countries, we'll just say the West, we'll just say America and Europe. Even though you have Japan and Korea, South Korea, whatever. Anyways, they're going to be able to do a lot of damage for very cheap. And this is going to trigger, this may or may not trigger, there's going to be a world war in Europe. Okay? Fucking skipping to the end of it, there's going to be a world war in Europe. A world, like, civil war? Maybe, I don't know. It's fucking, I don't know what this great war that's coming is looking like. And actually, let's go back to Jacob real quickly on my face. I mean, I'm already here. What they are trying to do is persuade us to say that there's going to be a terrorist attack in the West and that there's going to be a terrorist attack in the United States. Listen for it. See it on the news. They're going to say, oh my God, because of the open borders, we have like now all these terrorists are here. There's going to be a terrorist attack. There's going to be a terrorist attack. There's going to be a terrorist attack. And so they're trying to meme it into existence. They're trying to make it happen. They want a terrorist attack. Who's they? The security industrial complex, the security state, the fucking lettered agencies, because it's going to give them more money and power. Okay? They let in 10 million fucking people who don't belong here. Sorry, excuse me. But whatever. Open borders is going to be seen as the most insane fucking policy ever in 100 years. They're just going to be like, what the fuck were these idiots doing? Okay? Because of what's going to come afterwards, which is, so like they're trying to say that there's going to be a terrorist attack. The borders are open, there's going to be a terrorist attack. How many terrorists have already poured over here? Oh my God, look, now the leader of Hamas over in Qatar, living in his fucking mansion, is calling for United Islamic Day of Resistance. So do a bunch of terrorist attacks everywhere you are, people of Islam. It's time to fucking rise up and do it tomorrow. So there is a call for a terrorist attack across the West tomorrow. Just so you know, heads up. And I'm not going to say it's happening, okay? Here's my stance. I'm not going to say that there's going to be a terrorist attack. However, there is a good possibility of that wind up fucking happening. I'm not going to say that it's baked in the cake, and I'm not going to say it's fucking tomorrow, and I'm not going to say it's blah, 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 blah. But in our future, if you look at what we have done across the globe, and all the people that we have let in, and all the people who fucking hate our guts, there is going to be a big terrorist attack, okay? And I don't choose a side in Israel or Palestine. The only side I am choosing is peace. I hope everybody who's fucking evil in the world gets saved by God or Jesus Christ or has some sort of awakening where they're like, you know what, God, I've seen the error of my ways and I would love to build a peaceful, wonderful earth and blah, 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 blah. That's the only fucking side I'm standing on. I'm standing with Jesus, okay? I'm just going to be on Jesus' side. Because fuck, like, I ain't picking a bunch of imperialistic bomb throwers, and I ain't picking a bunch of fucking saber-rattling Bolsheviks who want to kill everybody, okay? I ain't fucking getting in between that shit. Rescue Hajis and commies, it'll be a fine war, Valhalla. Yeah. But it sucks to fucking live through that, okay? Good luck getting your Netflix and weed, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and here's the thing, you can't fight it. Like, Cole, what I'm saying is, like, we're not going to be fucking fighting in this war. What's going to happen is we're going to have like cafes blowing up. We're going to have people kidnapping each other at 2 o'clock in the morning and then their fucking limbs are thrown across the city hall. Like, that's what we're headed towards. We're heading towards the Troubles. And they want it to happen because when that happens, the American people will be screaming for blood. We're going to be screaming for the blood of all of our fucking enemies. Like, if there's a big terrorist attack, the United States are going to say, oh, just fucking kill everybody in Gaza and let's just nuke Iran while we're at it. Oh, and we better shut down the border and we better have a security state and we need to give the government emergency powers called Patriot Act 2.0, and it's going to get a standing ovation from the Democrats and the Republicans to keep us fucking safe, and that's how our digital prison will get built. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. Get ready for it. Now, they're also fucking idiots, okay? They're fucking incompetent idiots. So when you're like, oh my God, it's going to be a brave new world, or oh, it's going to be like, Fahrenheit 451, or it's going to be, oh my God, it's going to be, what's the other one? Not Brave New World. The drug one. No, Brave New World's the drug one. 1984. It's going to be 1984 and blah, blah, blah. 1984, run by fucking idiots. Okay? The dumbest, most incompetent fucking people that the United States have ever produced are now in charge of things, and now they're going to try to build a security state. And then they're going to be like, oh, well, even though all these Islamics are causing all kinds of fucking problems, which the right's going to go after them, they're still going to try going after the right, okay? They're still going to try going after the left. Like, this was on Tim Pool, so I'm going to give the Tim Pool show credit, but cops in New York, their terrorism division is now solely focused on white supremacists in New York, and they're not dedicating any forces to fucking Islam. And Cole, you tell me how crazy that is. How many white supremacists are in New York City, and how many Islamic fundamentalists are in New York City? Go! So they're just going to get their pants, they're just going to be caught with their pants down. Like, they're inviting a terrorist attack. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to think? Like, are they this stupid or are they this evil? Yes! Man, I got off topic there. And on topic. Because it's just, like, fucking, here's what I'm like Charlie trying to explain this big thing. I'm trying to give you guys a framework to survive the future. Okay? And Cole kindly says, the Islamic people. Man, you and my dad could have a great talk about this one. But what I'm trying to do is give you, you got tons. To give you an idea of just how, like, I can't tell you how bad it is in New York, although I can tell you that in London, I think they spend $4 billion a year, monitoring every single radical Islamic fundamentalist terrorist in their country. Like $4 billion a year dedicated to just constantly observing these guys. And how many more have poured into Europe over the past few years? In the United States with our open-ass border. It's a lot, by the way. Sorry, I got distracted by your comment. And I lost my point. Manufacturing consent, blah, 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 blah. FB just censored you. Well, I saw your comment. Oh yeah, how to survive all this shit, okay? So, ladies, don't get in elevators with strange dudes. Don't let people you don't know into your building. Don't fucking call for the burning down of police stations. Don't get involved with people who are acting erratic with a fucking weapon. Oh, and don't cheer for war. Okay? And what does this terrorist attack shit look like? It's going to be like public settings getting it. Like, I don't know what it's going to look like, but let's just say it was me. Okay, let's just say it's me. And like, I had my big army of people and I was like, hey, 1,000 guys who are in the country. I want you to cause mayhem. I want you to cause mayhem in any way that you possibly can. And here's a list of possible things you could do. Attack concerts, attack churches, attack shopping malls, attack anywhere with a soft target, concerts, places with lots of people. Go attack places with lots of people. And if you can't do that, blow up a gas station, blow up a police station, blow up a mosque, blow up anything people care about. Blow up a water treatment plant, blow up a power station, blow up a blah, 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 blah. And so how do you survive that? Fucking head on a swivel. Head on a swivel. You see somebody who looks weird, get the fuck away from them. Okay? And I'm not trying to tell you to live in fear, okay? Because the realistic possibility of us, like any of us as individuals getting affected by this stuff is pretty low. But don't be stupid. Don't willingly be stupid. If you look at something that seems out of normal and your gut tells you there's something wrong, like your internal fear mechanism says, uh-oh, I'm in danger, or the hair stands up on the back of your hands or the back of your neck, and you're like, I got the heebie-jeebies or something, get the fuck out. Just fucking listen to that part of your body. Just get the fuck out. Because not only you're dealing with a bunch of terrorists who have been driven crazy, like a bunch of fucking terrorists, you're also dealing with a bunch of fucking drug addicts, and you're dealing with a bunch of fucking people who have been indoctrinated to hate your guts. It doesn't matter what race you are. Our media complex has indoctrinated some group of people to hate your fucking guts. Okay, so the biggest problem we have in the world is a media problem. Biggest problem we have is a fucking media that just lies and tries to create problems and get people killed so it can fucking report on them. Okay? Like, the media is worse than the defense manufacturers, okay? The fucking lords of war wouldn't be able to drop a bomb if it wasn't for the goddamn news, okay? The news is the enemy of the people. Thank you, Donald Trump. Twice elected President Donald Trump said the enemy of the people is the news. Not wrong. Soon to be thrice elected. Man, if fucking Donald Trump gets elected again, I'm going to call him the 3-time elected president. Forever. Forever, I'm just going to fucking say it. So, You've been put on notice. Now, where are we going? Manufacturing consent. We talked about that a whole lot, but just so you're aware, here's what they're trying to do. They're trying to get all of us to be on Israel's side so they can go in and just wipe the floor with Gaza. Okay? That's what this is. Okay? So let's go back to manufacturing consent. They lied about Vietnam, Afghanistan, Iraq twice. So fucking the babies getting killed thing, they totally talked about that in Iraq. In the first Gulf War, the fake news was that the Iraqis were going into the Kurdistan. Where they attack? Kuwait. They were taking Kuwaiti babies and they were just throwing them on the ground to die so they could take their baby incubators back to Iraq. Okay, that was how they sold the war. Didn't fucking happen. Okay, how about the second Iraq war? Oh, weapons of mass destruction? Another fucking lie. Okay, Syria. Oh my God, Assad's gassing his own people. A fucking lie. And you know what happened as a result of that Syrian lie, by the way? Oh, the Israelis and the United States armed and fucking supported Al-Qaeda and ISIS. What was that? The United States military, government, whatever, and the Israeli government, military, whatever, supported ISIS and Al-Qaeda because of a fucking border. So those organizations that we were at war with on one side of the border, oh, well, now they're our friends on the other side of the border because they're fighting fucking Assad and we need to take all of his oil. All of this is about energy and oil, okay? All of this is about real estate. This is about fucking real estate. If you know anybody who's looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, Jacob Robertson, Western Washington, I'm fucking awesome. This is all about real estate. Real estate for people to live on. Real estate for energy. Real estate is a strategic advantage. Real estate is for fucking minerals. Okay, it's just real estate. That's all it fucking is. Oh, real estate of the people of gentrification coming into our place. Oh, we want our own place. Oh, we need to have this place. Oh, we just real estate. It's all real estate. It's all real estate. Just made that up. Okay, so. Oh yeah, so Libya. Oh, we covered. I'm sorry, that was Syria where that happened. Libya. Well, Gaddafi's trying to get a nuclear weapon or whatever, so we're gonna so we're gonna just sow a bunch of division. They did this same race shit to radicalize a whole bunch of people. So let's just remember Libya before Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton just fucking turned it into the worst place in the world. It was the most prosperous African nation. Everybody had a house. Everybody had a job. Everybody had food. Everybody had fucking healthcare. It was a fucking paradise. And then they got a bunch of people radicalized. They shoved swords up his ass, and now they have open slave markets. The most advanced fucking, the best country in Africa, and they turned it to fucking dust because they wanted resources. In Syria. Yemen. So there's the Houthi rebels who they're talking, oh, we need to help. Oh, no, it's just actually, it's a fucking proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran, so a whole bunch of Yemeni children are getting killed. And Ukraine. Is there any lies going on about Ukraine? Is there any money laundering that's going on in Ukraine? How much fucking money is going to the defense contractors? A lot. So if there's a war in the Middle East between Israel and fucking whoever, that's a lot of bombs to sell. My prediction is that, and we don't make artillery anymore. So we can't make fucking shells anymore because everybody has a liberal arts degree. You know who makes all the shells? Russia. Russia makes fucking so many more shells than we do. You know why? Because they have a trades economy. Okay? They don't have the big universities we have with a whole bunch of intelligentsias. They have a bunch of fucking plumbers and mechanics and carpenters. You know who knows how to make an artillery shell? A fucking carpenter. You just have to be oh, hey, you know how to use your hands, so you use this press and use this kind of stuff and you put this stuff in there and be really careful, don't do this, otherwise it's going to blow up in your hands. And the carpenter's going to be well, I kind of understand that because if I don't do this, I cut off my fingers. Okay, I got that. Versus your liberal arts person who's just well, let me read a book on it, so I'm going to make I actually think that I can do it better. I'm going to put some gum in there. And they don't make shit. So fucking Israel's going to have to wind up buying artillery from the Russians, and America's going to pay for it. That's my most outlandish prediction. But yeah, the United States is going to give fucking munitions from the Russians to the Israelis. Because that's how bonkers this world is. So let me see. Israel helped create this problem. Seizing land is part of it. Another is using radicalization as a tool to create wedges in society. Oh yeah, no, that's we just talked all about that. So I'm going to do a little bit of change of things because I want to humanize this conflict for y'all. Okay, so this is a Palestinian girl. She's 10.
I can't do anything. If you want all of this, what do you expect me to do? Fix it? I'm only 10. I can't even do anything anymore. I just want to be a doctor or anything to help my people. I can't. I'm just a kid. I don't even know what to do. I get scared, but not really that much. I do anything for my people, but I don't know what to do. I'm just 10. I'm just 10. All of this, when I see, I literally cry every day, saying to myself, why do we deserve this? Think I'm always, I don't know. I can't do anything.
So what the fuck that kid do? What the fuck that kid do? You want to drop a bomb on that kid? Fucking apartment building right next to her just got bombed. So I didn't talk this much about it, but the Israelis are pounding the shit out of Gaza. They've dropped a lot of bombs on that place, which I'm not going to show you the footage of. You can go other places. So I'm not going to show you footage of this kind of carnage, okay? If there's riots, we got some election riots, I'll show you that, or stuff that's American. But as far as just like gore pushing, outrage pushing, you see a bunch of terrible shit to make you really sad, you ain't going to get that here. And I also figured I should do that because I dumped on the Palestinians pretty hard. Whoops, cancel that. No. And so I'm going to show you another video here. Open link. Ba-ba-da-ba. Now, I might need to resize this so you can see all of it. So this is a woman who is streaming live in Gaza.
Okay. During war times, all the neighbors, they just leave their doors open, so you can just enter your neighbor's house. It's okay. For my neighbors, they didn't evacuate as well. They have their windows down. Here are their windows. And here is the family. They're gathering all together, also in a place far away from the window. I was trying to explain things, but I think you can hear them now.
Did you see her hair move? Those bombs were so close it moved her hair.
I'll go check on my parents. Now, we're inside the house right now, and literally we can't breathe. That's the view from the window, and I can't keep it open. That's the view from the balcony. There is literally no view. You can't see anything.
They're bombing the fuck out of Gaza. And so this one is for the people who say, well, why don't they, Hamas uses human shields. Yes, they do. Why don't they just get rid of Hamas? Well, you have a fucking evil government in the United States. Why don't you just get rid of it? There's an evil government in, England. Why don't they just get rid of it? There's an evil government in North Korea. Why don't they just get rid of it? Do you know how fucking stupid you all sound? Do you know how fucking dumb that is? Oh, go kill all the guys with all the guns and all the courts and all the police and all the resources and all the tax dollars. Give me a fucking break. But now I got to show the other side of the spectrum of what's going on in Palestine, because you got to understand, fuck, man, here. This will show you just how unsolvable this is. So, congratulations, it's another video from Jacob. Thanks for watching my show. This one's a little bit longer, but you should watch it. This one is a classic video. So this is David Horowitz. David Horowitz was a communist, raised in communism. His parents were radical commies. He helped the Black Panthers in the 70s up until he discovered the Black Panthers were laundering money. And the bookkeeper that he had looking into it, because he worked with him. He literally had like a nonprofit working with them. And there were people stealing money, and they fucking murdered her. And then he realized that maybe the left wing's really just terrible. And so he's become a big anti-lefty guy. And this is a exchange between David Horowitz and a student at the University of California, San Diego, 2010. And this is so you guys understand this conflict a little better.
Good evening.
Yes.
Good evening. Just wanted to say thank you for coming to campus.
And just
tonight.
real crazy, real quick, 11 million views in like a day, 2 days.
Presenting your point of view, it's always valuable to have two sets of.
Actually, I'm going to pause real quickly on that. We're getting so much fucking footage out of Israel and Gaza, it's crazy. Where's all the footage on Russia and Ukraine? Their manufacturing consent, number one, and I would argue that the Israel lobby or the Israelis or somebody associated with Israel has more access to our algorithms and manipulating our algorithms than the Russians or the Ukrainians do. Like the Russians and the Ukrainians did pretty good. They were pretty good with their propaganda and their dancing and that kind of stuff to make like Americans like them. The Israelis have just managed to stir up a bloodlust in this country I haven't seen since 9/11. Actually, it's worse than 9/11. In 9/11, they were like, let's go get the bad guys. Let's go get the bad guys that got us. In this, it's fucking mow it down. Here, just real quickly. Just so we can be clear on what Jacob's talking about, we'll do Nikki Haley running for president.
Their people, it goes to feed their terroristic.
Here.
We have to stop Iran. Every dollar they get goes to terrorism. We had totally eliminated their economy. This money doesn't go to feed their people. It goes to feed their terroristic behavior. Eliminate their economy. Make sure they never get a bomb. Stop all the oil that's going to China. Stop all the equipment and ammunition that's going to Russia and bring them to their knees. And we can't stop until we do that. They have been celebrating, saying death to Israel, death to America. Don't ever forget that. Death to Israel, death to America. They hate us more than they hate Israel. We've got to put an end to this once and for all.
Oh, come on. That's not it. Maybe this is it. No, it's not. My bad. But this is pretty good.
Just imagine that here the Israelis woke up and communities were bombarded, families were murdered, women and children were taken hostage, dragged through the streets, the elderly were taken. All of this has happened in front of everyone, on top of thousands of rockets that hit Israel. This should be personal for every woman and man in America. Why? Because when they did this surprise attack, when they took these hostages, when they murdered these families, they were celebrating. And what were they celebrating? They were saying death to Israel, death to America. This is not just an attack on Israel. This is an attack on America because they hate us just as much. And what we have to understand is this is the reason that we have to unite around making sure our enemies do not hurt our friends. America can never be so arrogant to think we don't need friends, just like we needed them on 9/11. That's why Ukraine needs us when Russia's doing this. That's why Israel needs us when Hamas and Iran are doing this. And I'll say this to Prime Minister Netanyahu, finish them. Finish them. Hamas did this. You know Iran's behind it. Finish them. They should have hell to pay for what they've just done.
So that is some extreme rhetoric, okay? That's extreme. Finish them. Netanyahu, finish them. They're dancing in the streets. And also, listen to her language. It wasn't just Israel that was attacked. America was attacked. They are trying to fucking pull us into this conflict so they can sell more weapons or whatever. The Israel lobby is incredibly powerful in Washington. And that's what a lot of this, like, I want to get, like, clear. Bree, check your aunt's, or check your mom's feed. Go ask Aunt Lindy. Ask Aunt Lindy how she feels about Hamas, Gaza, and Iran right now. Listen to her spit fucking venom and blood for a while. And then realize that this is what this conflict has done to every single Republican in the country, or every single conservative. With the exception of MAGA. The only fucking people who are calling for peace are MAGA. Did you realize that? Like, is that fucking weird? Anyways, I wanted to show that as like another little backdrop of that, but now we can finally get to the David Horowitz video, because I had to get all that out of the way.
Yes.
Good evening. Just wanted to say thank you for coming to campus tonight and presenting your point of view. It's always valuable to have two sets of views going on at the same time. Very useful. My name is Jumana Imad Musa Ahmed Al-Bahri, and I'm a student here at UCSD. I was reading your literature. I found that much more interesting than the talk. And I found some interesting things about the MSA, which is an organization that's very active on campus, and it is hosting our annual Hitler Youth Week. You should come out to those events. If you could clarify the connection between the MSA and jihad terrorist networks, because last I checked, we had to do our own fundraising, and we never get help from anyone. So if you could clarify the connection between UCSD's MSA, or if you don't have such information, if you could connect other MSAs on UCs, because the connection wasn't too clear in the pamphlet. Just if you could clarify.
Okay. Will you condemn Hamas here and now?
I'm sorry, what?
Will you condemn Hamas
Would I condemn Hamas?
as a terrorist genocidal organization?
Are you asking me to put myself on a cross?
So you won't. I actually have had this experience many times. You didn't read the pamphlet because the pamphlet is chapter and verse. The main connection is that the MSA is part of the Muslim Brotherhood Network as revealed in the documents.
I don't think you understood what I meant by that. I meant if I say something, I'm sure that I will be arrested for reasons of Homeland Security. So if you could please just answer my question.
If you condemn Hamas, Homeland Security will
If I
arrest you.
support Hamas, because your question forces me to condemn Hamas. If I support Hamas, I look really
If you
bad.
don't condemn Hamas, obviously you support it. Case closed. I've had this experience, I had this experience at UC Santa Barbara where there were 50 members of the Muslim Students Association sitting right in the rows there. And throughout my hour talk, I kept asking them, will you condemn Hezbollah and Hamas? And none of them would. And then when the question period came, the president of the Muslim Students Association was the first person to ask questions. And I said, before you start, will you condemn Hezbollah? And he said, well, that question is too complicated for a yes-no answer. So I said, okay, I'll put it to you this way. I'm a Jew. The head of Hezbollah has said that he hopes that we will gather in Israel so he doesn't have to hunt us down globally. For it or against it?
For it.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and showing everybody what's here. And you're wearing a terrorist neckerchief.
If you understood,
No, you didn't hear the lady.
could you
asked a
please answer my question?
You don't get to make a speech.
So I want to show you that one to give you an idea on just how deeply rooted the hatred, the ethnic hatred is between these groups. This is unfixable. This is an unfixable situation. And Bree, I don't have a solution to this. Like, how do you do, like, fucking genocidal hatred? Like, what are we supposed to fucking do? I'm going to wrap this up because this has been going on for a while. Let me see. So here's something on Iran. Boop-a-boo. Let's cancel that, cancel that, cancel that. Open link. I don't even remember what this one is. It's from one of my Twitter homies. Oh yeah. How complicated this shit is. So this is Iran, giant ass soccer stadium. Stick the Palestinian flag up your ass, is what the Iranians are saying. So here's the thing, like, the people don't want to fight. Like, the people don't want to fight. Like, the rulers, our governments are trying to get us all to fucking kill each other and die and fight so they can, like, I don't know, not get killed by all of us. This is a global phenomenon. So the Donald Trump, Brexit, populist, Modi in India, kind of like, you know, Bolsonaro in Brazil and that guy in Argentina with the hair and the sideburns. Cole, you might dig his sideburns. Everyone's sick of their country. Everybody's sick of their fucking governments. Everybody on the planet is fucking sick of their governments. And the governments are trying to have World War III break out so they can stay in charge and take all of this angry energy and the young men who would actually be the ones to overthrow them in a revolution fucking killed in some giant war that they get to profit off of and just have this go on for all of eternity. But I just wanted to show you that it's not like all the Iranians want to fucking fight. It's not like all the people want this fight, okay? What they're going to do is put a microscope on everybody who's saying like the most outlandish crazy shit, because that's what floats to the top, but also it's how you manufacture consent. And so terrorism, they want a terrorist attack, blah, 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 blah. Oh, this is also part of the permacrisis. I want to just wrap a couple things up and then I'm going to bounce, okay? So the permacrisis is an ongoing crisis that's happened since 9/11 to say, give us all the money and power in the world. This is the government saying, so give me all the money and the power in the world, and I'll take care of the terrorists for you. And then it's like, give me all the power, I'll fix the banking crisis for you. Give me all the money in the world, I'll fix COVID for you. And it's just been nonstop since COVID. So it's like COVID, and then it rolls into Ukraine, and now it's rolling into Israel. Israel is going to be the next chapter in this fucking shit show. Okay, so we're just going to ignore it. COVID's going to get ignored, and everybody's going to be fired up about like fucking Israel and Palestine, and they won't even remember what they fought about during COVID, and they won't remember what they fought about during Ukraine because they're too busy fighting whatever the fucking narrative that Fox News or MSNBC feeds people, and they're going to argue and be genocidal over that, and then the next crisis will happen, and they'll forget about all the COVID shit and everything else, and it'll just keep going on. Another one, that $6 billion that went to Iran had nothing to do with this. This attack was going to happen no matter what, so that's kind of a wrong talking point. Also, that $6 billion is the Iranian fucking money. And that's money that the U.S. government seized after they made an arms purchase to the United States of America to deal with Saddam Hussein during the, Iran-Iraq war. I think that's when the money, it was around that time. It was in the 80s that this happened. So the fucking United States is a weapons depot. Oh yeah, by the way, the Palestinians using American weapons, where'd that M4 come from? Okay, where are those M4s coming from? Do you think maybe they were from all the fucking weapons that Joe Biden left in Afghanistan? Do you think that's how, like, a bunch of Muslims got their hands on a bunch of fucking American weapons? And so then we're also supplying the Israelis with American weapons? We're the weapons dealers in both sides of this war. Isn't that fucking convenient? That's real nice. Oh, and how about this? Oh, and the Israelis were selling weapons to Azerbaijan, which are being used to genocide the Christians in Armenia. So Israel supplying Muslims weapons to kill Christians. You see how fucking ugly all this is? Like, does this... And so, where we go real quick. Who runs the globe? It's the neocons. What are the neocons? A combination of defense manufacturers, think tanks, and then some right-wing government, some right-wing elements in Israel. They're fucking pissing everybody off. That's my show. That's all I got for you guys. Let me see if I can find something funny for you. Do you have any? I do. I know what I'm gonna end this by making fun of fucking Jesus Christ. 10-month-old Israeli twins were found hidden and unharmed in kibbutz. Their parents were beheaded. So the kids weren't beheaded, just their fucking parents. And you know, what does beheaded mean? Like, so they say beheaded, which makes us think like oh, fucking Christ. Oh yeah, so a couple of fake news things about this. You're going to see, oh my God, I forgot like the biggest chunk of this shit. So something that's going to be happening is deep fakes. And so, where do I? Here, I'll show it to you this way. I'm going to go back here real quick and then go here. Joe Biden evidence, maybe? Confirmed? Oh, I spelled Biden wrong.
I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists. I never really thought that I would see and have confirmed pictures of terrorists beheading children. I never thought I'd ever. Anyway, but there are countries in the region that are trying to be of some help, including Arab nations, trying to be of some help. So
I'm going to pause that real quick. So I watched this video a number of times because I was trying to see if it was a deep fake. So this thing wound up going viral, and I was looking for the mouth to see. I've never thought I would see confirmed images of children being killed, like beheaded, whatever he said exactly. So first off, that has not been confirmed. He was going based off of reports that came from that one journalist who is a propagandist for the Israelis. So if you remember that, he's going based off of those reports. So he's not looking at some special information about that. But what you're going to see with there's going to be some AI shit coming out that's going to blow your fucking mind. This is actually why I really want, this was the biggest part of the show. I can't believe I forgot it. So I'm sorry it took so long to get to the point. There is going to be clips of Joe Biden and Trump and every elected official saying stuff like, I can't believe that they cut his dick off and then set him on fire. But that's not what happened, and it's going to be in a whole speech, so you're going to be able to see like Fox News or whatever, and they're just going to edit that little thing, and they're going to use Joe Biden's voice, which they can easily do because there's so much footage of it, and they're going to be able to deep fake his little mouth over it, and then it's going to be like, I can't believe they cut his dick off and set him on fire, okay? And then they're going to be like, oh, the terrorists are cutting everybody's dicks off and setting it on fire, and it's going to circle around the globe on the net, and before the retraction or correction can be made, nobody's going to fucking believe it. So what's going to happen really soon is a whole bunch of our politicians are going to be saying stuff that's going to be altered, and people are just going to straight up stop believing politicians. Okay? They're just and I mean what they actually say. Did he actually say this? This was so extraordinary that I didn't believe it happened. It was out of context. It was it was wrong in a different way than I thought it was, but it was still wrong. What you're going to see is AI generated babies being burned. You're going to see fucking toddlers getting gunned down. You're going to see women getting raped. You're going to just see AI horrible fucking shit. And then it's going to get circulated in the left wing and the right wing bubbles. And then they're going to be reacting to that, which is going to cause a further escalation in this stuff. And then what they're going to do, and then eventually we have a terrorist attack or whatever it is. And then they're going to say, oh, well, the internet's so dangerous that we have to censor the whole fucking thing. So get ready for that. And when it gets local, so what'll happen is locally you'll hear young black kid was killed by white supremacists, and it'll be a video of these white supremacists kicking the shit out of them, which ain't real. And then what'll happen is you'll see a retaliatory attack as a result of that fake news that wound up coming out, and then people are actually going to go out and attack blacks as a result of it, and then nobody will be, and they'll be like, well, that first video was fucking fake. How am I supposed to believe this one? And that's just an example. It doesn't matter white between black or whatever it is. But this is the hybrid war that's coming. So I'm trying to help prepare your minds for what's coming. So not only don't get on elevators with crazy people, don't believe your fucking eyes and ears. Don't spend time on the internet getting pulled into conflicts that have nothing to fucking do with you. Okay? Everybody's trying to get you involved in their conflict. You know why? You equals money. Okay? If I can get you so agitated that you're like, I can't believe the cause of Jacob, it's so sad. The cause of Jacob is the only way I can save the fucking puppies of the universe. I better give him $100. And so people are going to come out, put out a bunch of fucking crazy shit so they can get money. Because it doesn't matter if it costs us $1 trillion. If they make a couple $1 billion or a couple $1 million, that's okay. Because they're fucking psychopaths. Okay, so that was one of the things I really, 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 really wanted to fucking get across to you guys. Because the amount of fake news that's about to come out is just unbelievable. Just incredible. But I do want to end on a happy note as much as I can because I generally like to have funny shows, okay? I like my show to be funny. And this one's going to come at the expense of some poor bastard. But I'm okay laughing at some fucking idiot right now, okay? This has no context. I have no idea where this video came from.
You fucking fight me then, pussy! You're a thief! A big fucking thief! You fucking stole one of my cans! What are you so broke that you need 5 cents? 5 fucking cents! I didn't steal your man. Steal all my fucking cans from you, you prick! Oh, fuck! You fucking fight!
Let's go see that end again because it cuts out real quick. Gets on his bike.
Oh, fuck!
Oh, fuck! And his pants are around screen. So, as Cole Jenkins and I would say, don't mess with crazy people. This guy's clearly crazy and fucking agitated. Don't fuck with nobody. And that's my show for the day. Thank you so much, people. I hope it sounded good. I've actually been editing an episode for a while. That's pretty funny. So I'm going to release that to you guys and send it properly directly to you. The news is no longer urgent or relevant, but I wanted to make a funny video to see if I could make a funny video. So you guys can expect that in a day or two, and then next week I'll be back with another show. And it'll be different. It'll probably be more uplifting. I just wanted to go into the history of this conflict, and like the history of this I wanted to give you a whole bunch of data points on this conflict for you to be able to create a map to see how things are going and where things are going to be headed and how to navigate all that. Okay? I'll talk to you guys.